Hi, Todd Warren here in the Forecast Center. Of course, the climatological summer of 2023 is now over. Again, we consider June, July, and August to be summer, climatologically speaking. And if you add up all the highs and all the lows and average them out, this summer turned out to be the second hottest summer on record in Shreveport with an average temperature of 86.5 degrees. That's a bit shy of the 88.4 that was recorded back in 2011. You can see last year, before we happened to go through this summer, last year was actually the fifth hottest summer on record after today's or this year's summer heat. Big question is, how fast could we cool down as we go through September, October, and November? So let's take a look at those numbers. And typically we see our first night with lows in the 50s on September 17th. First time we dip in the 40s, typically right around October 8th. First time we dip into the 30s. Typically that's right around Halloween on average, if you look at all the years dating back to 1874. And typically, on average, our first freeze occurs on November 20th. So that begs the question, when will we see, or when could we see, our first freeze this fall? Well, if you look at the top 10 hottest summers, 77 of those 10, or 70%, of those years had the freeze on or after November 20th. So it's looking as if this year follows suit, that we'll see our first freeze probably near or after Thanksgiving. As far as the heat, when will we see our last of the 90s, our last of the triple-digit heat? Well, typically in summers that do see triple-digit heat, not all summers do bring temperatures that hot. The average date of the last 100-degree day is on August 17th. As far as the latest 100-degree day ever recorded, that occurred back in 2011 on September 29th. So that's kind of depressing. We could be looking at another month of this stuff. And as far as our average last 90-degree day, on average, that occurs on October 2nd. And the latest day that we've ever recorded temperatures in the 90s occurred on October 30th, believe it or not. So that begs the question, when could we see our last 90-degree day this season? Well, it looks like if you look at the top 10 hottest summers, 7 of those 10 occurred after October 2nd. So it looks like we will see that cool down pretty close to normal, but expect to see temperatures, those first and those last, to occur a little bit later than they typically do.